criminal, babies.
And I think he went to jail. I don't know. He's a criminal. He's a murdering criminal.
Yeah.
He was a great running back. Also, big piece of shit. So he's dead. There's a nice meme of him, of Aaron Hernandez and him doing, the Paul Rudd meme. It's like, hey, look at us. Look at us. It's like Aaron Hernandez and O.J. Simpson. Anyway, speaking of dumb fat assholes, let's do some opening takes with somebody in sports show where we talk Boston sports, latest and greatest. I'll kick it off. Actually, I can go Pats or Celtics here.
No.
Which one are you leaning? You're going Pats?
Yeah.
Okay. Then I'll go Red Sox. They suck. They're absolutely atrocious. Confirmed first couple weeks of the season. West Coast sports doesn't matter. West Coast baseball certainly doesn't matter. The Red Sox blow. They have hit somewhat of a trifecta of ridiculousness. Trevor Story goes down. Pivetta goes down. Francona ditches their ceremony at the last second. Alex Cora doesn't want to be there. They're just an atrocious franchise. So we'll touch on that a little bit. I know Bobby Baseball is not the biggest fan, but we'll do a little Celtics talk as well. The core commitment, Jrue Holiday signing and heading into the playoffs here. Just a few short days. We'll be in the NBA playoffs. I'm not sure I'm too optimistic in the way they're going to handle this heading into the postseason. Obviously, a lot having to do with Joe Mazzula, some of the things he said recently, and just his general demeanor as a human. So a little Red Sox, little Celtics talk. Bobby, your opening take.
Do not believe the J.J. McCarthy hype. The Patriots will not be drafting him at 3. Don't believe any of the smoke screens, okay? The draft is a foregone conclusion at this point. It's going to go 1, Caleb Williams, 2, Jaden Daniels, and the Patriots will be drafting Drake May with the 3rd pick. That is my belief. That's their guy. They're going to swing for the fence for the guy with the highest ceiling, the one that is the opposite of Mac Jones. Before they went for someone with your high floor. Now they're going to go for someone with the high ceiling. That's what I believe, and I think that that's what's going to be. Don't worry. You don't have to deal with JJ, folks.
That's a bold statement, based on a lot of the information that we're getting from the
Don't believe it.
They're down in Patriots camp. We'll talk about that. Here's what I think. Nobody knows anything, and everybody blows. Nobody knows, and everybody blows. That's the title of the show. I hate this talk. I'm so sick of the Patriots quarterback talk. It sucks to suck. I really wish they didn't suck so bad that we had to talk about franchise quarterbacks and failing at picking them. But we'll talk about the draft. It is 2 weeks away. It's coming up. New quarterback news every second, every day, whether it's real, whether it's fake with the Patriots. It's out there. So we'll do that. Some Patriots updates, the Duggar stuff, core commitments for the Celtics, the Jrue Holiday deal heading into the playoffs. The Red Sox do indeed blow. And this should be fun. A top 5 segment of the Patriots first round draft picks. Kind of all time. Not of all time. Basically of our lifetime.
When they matter.
Yeah, 70s and bullshit. And of course, Simplest Minds of the Week. This is the Simple Minds Sports Show. Friday rerun April 12th, Thursday live April 11th. Welcome to the show. If you're watching on YouTube, you're welcome. Looking devilishly handsome tonight. If you're watching on your preferred podcast platforms, wherever you listen, whether it be Spotify, iTunes, remember to rate, subscribe, review, tell your friends. As always, tell your mothers. All right, I do want to monkey with this just a second.
Monkey away.
Shift 5, shift 3.
Oh, getting the hotkeys. Look at you.
I'm hockeying it up. Although I don't know how to put you in like the main. You're just never going to have the spotlights in it.
That's too bad.
I'm gonna have to figure that out. I might have to figure that on the fly. Let's do a little Patriots talk. Nobody knows, everybody blows. The Patriots draft and their updates. I'm gonna start with Merrill Hodge because I've been laughing for a number of days with Merrill Hodge.
It's like taking advice from Antonio Brown. The man has severe CTE. Okay, he got fired from ESPN because he was a fucking idiot.
I don't care. I love him. God damn it. I love the commentary because I agree with it. Basically, is why I love it. I think they all suck. This is why I've been against taking, and they might not all suck, but they're certainly not worthy of the number 3 pick. And the importance that the NFL has put on the quarterback position, the insanity that goes around it with teams that come into the drafts, especially shitty teams that don't have quarterbacks, and knowing how important it is, and then just the media uproar and this complex to push the draft and these draft picks and to make it a media event more than a football event just drives these narratives for these quarterbacks way too much. And look, they're not going to meet those expectations. There's going to be upwards of 6 quarterbacks taken in the first round, 5 of them potentially taken the first 5 picks. One of them might be good. Just go back to Mac Jones' draft. One of them is a starter in the league at this point, 3 years later, in Trevor Lawrence. The rest are almost out of the league. I guess Justin Fields technically, but he just lost his job to the next guy, Caleb Williams, who's going to be drafted. So it's why from the beginning I have said trade out, get some draft capital, find your quarterback in the first round, but later in the first round, do your research. Because the 5th guy taken has just a chance of being successful as the 2nd guy taken in this draft. And you're in such a bad place that you need high-end talent at left tackle and wide receiver specifically. And this draft just so happens to have a lot of that high-end talent, but most of it will be gone by the time you're out of the beginning of the 2nd round or so. So I've always liked the idea of using that trade number 3 pick as a trade bait to draft out. Because as Merrill said, if you Drake draft May, that's a guy that'll get you fired.
Well, getting Gerard Mayo fired might be a benefit to us. So
Fair.
That could be a selling point for you. Maybe he's going to come in there and do his job. Or, I mean, first of all, we could have just kept Mac Jones. He got the greatest coach of all time fired. So that's Mac Jones is the GOAT of coach killing.
That's not an unfair statement. Although can't fucking get it. Although if it's not Drake May and it's JJ McCarthy, Merrill Hodges' take on that is
yeah.
He is high on Jaden Daniels. That's the highest that he's on outside of Caleb Williams, I guess. But that's what it's boiling down to. So now you hear the Commanders are in on JJ, the perfect prospect. Way to you were ahead of the curve on that one, Bobby. Weeks.
I mean, it's just I could see it's just how NFL GMs think. They're scared. They're gonna do he won the national title. They're scared. You can't say if you as a GM, like I drafted the quarterback of the high profile team that just won the national championship. Look, he had no red flags. That's one of those things you could do as a safe pick and say, what else was I supposed to do? It's not my fault. He failed. It was the coaches. They fucked up. They didn't support him. They didn't do da 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 da. It just feels that way.
Yeah. Here's a couple points that are starting to ignore me. So it's rumored, and I got some quotes here from Schefter and some of the beat guys, but basically it's coming down to it, the number 3 pick, JJ McCarthy or Drake May. It has been that way for a number of weeks now. Drake May falling in people's kind of eyes and mock drafts and what have you. JJ McCarthy rising, but you listen to any Patriots guys, they're high on JJ McCarthy. They're a little iffy on Drake May, but it's basically coming down to those 2 guys because most people think Jaden Daniels is still going to the Commanders. What's starting to bug me is the commitment that we're hearing out of Patriots camp of how committed they are to the number 3 pick and taking a quarterback at number 3.
Oh, that's happening. They're not trading.
It's really starting to aggravate. That alone is starting to aggravate, not leaving your options open to get back in the first round. And then the other piece that's really aggravating, so fine, you're going to take a quarterback. Now it's down to JJ or Drake May. If I hear one more person say swing for the fence, high upside, that's why I want Drake May, I'm going to lose my shit. Because does he suck or does he not suck? Okay? I get it. He can throw the ball 100 yards down the field, but What does that mean? There's been a million guys that can throw the ball 100 yards down the field. Everything else you hear about him is, he misses 6 straight passes to the flat, throws it into the cheerleader's lap, and then he throws 40 yards down the field and drops it in a bucket. And I get he's super, super young and a lot of room to grow. The cliches are starting to fucking drive me. Just the quarterback talk's driving me insane. How much can you talk about it? We've done it every week. I don't have any more to say. I don't want either of them, but if they're going to take one and you're going to make me pick, I'm going to shoot myself. I'd rather shoot myself in the chest.
Well, they're both cliche ridden. They're just cliche ridden for different reasons. It's whereas JJ, it's all about winning, consistency, mentality, attitude. Drake May is all about that. He's got every single tool that you would want if you were to build a quarterback. He'd be like he is 6'5", 225. Durable, all those things. At least with Drake May, I mean, I would in New England, I'd rather have the bigger, stronger prospect. I'd rather have that guy. I think at least from of how you're going to succeed. He was in North Carolina. It's kind of a shitty program. They really didn't have a lot of good players. He kind of persevered through. You kind of hear about his family. It seems like he's from a really athletic family. His father was a pro quarterback. And you just kind of like look at some of these things. It seems like he'd be able to cope and like he would be okay with going into a situation with New England where they're not going to have everything ready made for him. It feels like to me, I would much rather have him because at least I'd rather have the potential than someone that probably has more of a capped level of potential than your JJ if we have to stay at 3. My thing with the trade out too, I'm fine with the trade out. It's just if I trade out, I say just draft all players. Like, don't even bother wasting a high pick on one of these other quarterbacks. Because if you have an opportunity to get a quarterback in the first round, just get a better one than trading back and just getting any guy. Then I would just rather just spend your picks on the players and just do one whole draft, loading up on outfield players, and then just go from there.
I don't actually mind that either. Everyone is dead set, and you have to draft a quarterback. You have to draft a quarterback.
Just let Big Black Warrior play for the year.
Yeah, like, are people forgetting that this kid's not going to play? Are people this is why I hate the draft talk. Because people are forgetting. Look, the season has started. Players are in camp right now. They're showing up to the facility, and the guy starting in week 1 is Jacoby Brissett. Your floor as a team is 6 wins. That's what you're going to be watching this year. Whether it's Drake May or JJ McCarthy or Jaden Daniels, it doesn't matter. You're going to have to watch a football team quarterbacked by Jacoby Brissett with Kendrick Bourne right now as your number 1 wide receiver. And maybe that's why people like draft talk on shitty teams, because it distracts you from your shitty team.
It is a big distraction, yes.
But that's why I can't get behind the quarterback at number 3 and then waiting to 34 to take your secondary level of left tackle or secondary level of wide receiver, because they're not going to be impactful. You have to go 100% in your top 3 picks here to make an impact this year. And it's just not going to happen. It's just not going to happen. So you have a perfect opportunity. It's a quarterback heavy draft. People are very high on these quarterbacks, but there are question marks that everybody has alluded to and agrees with. There's a good chance 4 out of 5 of them aren't going to work. Don't fall into the trap of being the Buffalo Bills for 20 years and forcing yourself to take a quarterback just because you need a quarterback and you're in a position to take a quarterback.
Yep.
Get the better talent. Is Joe Alt a better left tackle than JJ McCarthy as a quarterback? Yes.
Yes.
Is that a position as important as quarterback? No. But if the quarterback you take sucks, you reset again in 3 years anyway. So can you build a decent team around studs at their positions and slip in a quarterback later that's not as good? Logically, that just makes so much more sense than hoping to get lucky with the number 3 pick in Drake May, which is what they're doing.
Yeah, they're putting their whole season on it, and it's when you look a little bit further at how the Patriots are operating, they're not looking to operate to have like a massive roster where they're looking to pay a lot of players. They don't want to do that. They want to have one guy. They want to have just the quarterback and they want to try and rerun the dynasty how it was. They want to get their star quarterback, have him drive the bus, and then run the Green Bay Packers operation around it, draft and develop, blah 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 blah. That's kind of how they want to do it. They're not going to do this. They don't see themselves as the destination. They're not going to want to try to bring in free agents. That is
so
how
well
they're
and good if you want to do the Green Bay quarterback, but You went from Brett Favre to Aaron Rodgers, to Jordan Love. Aaron Rodgers sat for 3 years. Brett Favre didn't come in as a rookie. He was traded for a couple years in the league. Jordan Love sat for 3 years. Like, you don't have that luxury behind Jacoby Brissett. He only signed for 1 year. So it's just not going to be apples to apples. You're not, I don't see it.
What happens if they play Brissett all year and then next year they literally have no quarterback because he leaves? He's like, I'm not resigning. This year blew. You let me get crushed behind this shit offensive line, and the Patriots, and then Bailey Zappi is still then their only quarterback under contract.
Zappy's just sitting back there on this pile of shit, smirking. That cocky little smurf.
I'm just gonna wait this out. They're gonna have to play me. Zap Daddy's got nothing but time, baby.
Brissett's gonna someone's gonna shatter his tibula first play, the first game. Here comes Zappy.
Fucking Zap Daddy.
11 for 31 for 191 yards, a touchdown and 2 picks. Here we go. Adam Schefter on moving back for the Patriots. Not looking good. A lot of people are talking about New England moving back out of that spot. I don't know about that, Schefter added. I'm not going to tell you that it won't. Of course, they would for the right offer, but I think it's going to be challenging. I think New England, here's the important part. I think for New England to trade out of the spot today, 2 weeks out, it's unlikely to happen because they're going to have to move back into a spot where they would lose out on the quarterback that they want, and they're going to have to be a team that has to give up a lot to get to number 3. So I think for the first 3 teams, stay where they're at in all probability, and I think all probability it goes Caleb Williams, Jaden Daniels, and then New England's choice of quarterbacks between May and McCarthy. However, any Washington Husky fans out there, I saw this mock draft today.
Yeah.
Stay with me here.
Yes.
You do the trade with Minnesota. So you trade 3 for 11 this year, 23 this year, a 3rd round pick this year, and a 1st round pick next year. Okay. So now you're sitting at 11 and 23 with an extra 3rd this year. You trade back up from 11 to 8 using that 3rd round pick you just got, or maybe your own because it's a better pick. At number 8, you trade with Atlanta. You take Odunze from Washington, stud wide receiver. Now you're sitting at 23, and up comes offensive lineman, offensive tackle Troy Fautanu, who, I'm not a big Washington college football guy. I don't have a lot of scouting reports on Troy Fautanu, but
he's an offensive lineman.
Considered a very good offensive lineman in the draft this year. Projected to go 1st round. And then you trade back up again to the 1st round from 34 to 31 using some type of 5th or 6th round combo, potentially a 4th it might take, and you take Michael Penix Jr. Your trifecta of 1st round picks coming from the 2nd best team in the nation, the Washington Huskies, your offensive trifecta, if you will, left tackle, quarterback, and wide receiver, all coming east from Steve Belichick's Washington Huskies. What say you about that, Bobby Bukaki, our college football expert?
Yeah, I mean, just like I said, I have no problem if they trade back and if they get a receiver and a lineman, but I wouldn't then use the premium pick on the quarterback. I would just take another position player. And the first 2 players are fine. There's a good receiver and a good lineman. So it's just with the other pick, then I would just take another lineman or another receiver.
But so what you're saying is then you're assuming that McCarthy and May specifically are that much better than Penix.
Yes.
Got it. I just think they're kind of all the same. I think they all kind of have the same potential to be good or busts in the league.
Yeah, I know mathematically you're right. Because you look at the math, one of them has a chance to hit over what do the other ones do. Each of these ones, they kind of have their own little flavor of what they do and what they don't. I don't know if Penix will be able to really play in the league. He's kind of like a bit of a statue back there, just kind of stands there. I think if you get after him, he might not be able to make the throws that he did in college. But it's just to me, if you're just gonna take a quarterback, you might as well just take the best one. Like why? Yeah.
Okay. Last point of this. My point is, who's the best one? I don't think anybody knows. Nobody knows, and everybody blows. That's my point. And if you're going to use,
you made it clear.
If you're going to use a number 3 pick, that they better be fucking good, and you don't know, right?
I agree.
Mitigating your risk. So I've said it for months. Mitigate your risk. Take a goddamn tackle and build up your line and build up your core. That's why I would do that. I wouldn't swing for the fences on Drake May because that's stupid. Any baseball player knows not to swing for the fences. You swing for a line drive, and if you connect well enough, it goes over the fence. You dumb fucks. You don't swing for the fence ever. You strike out when you swing for the fence.
When baseball players were swinging for the fences, it's when I actually gave a shit about baseball, okay? So maybe that's the damn problem. When McGuire and Sosa were fucking raking on roids, they were swinging for the fences.
Look, if you can metaphorically pump this Patriots team with the amount of steroids McGuire and Sosa were taking and guarantee out of the fence with Drake May, fine. I'm all for it. Pump them with metaphoric draft steroids and swing for the fence all day long.
Pump them with whatever. It's not my body. I don't give a shit.
At this point, they're swinging those skinny little sticks with those skinny little dicks because Rob Manfred has put together one of the worst baseball products we've seen potentially ever after the steroid era.
Pitchers are getting hurt, you piece of shit. Okay, that pitch clock is a bad thing.
Don't you do that.
And
don't you
bad
do that.
people like you, bad people
don't
like you
do this.
are
don't
getting
you
young men's arms
me.
thrown out because you don't have the goddamn patience
Don't
to
get me
wait
angry
until they're ready to throw.
Ray's not here. I'm having a delightful conversation. You're going to try and make me angry. You're going to fucking catfish me on this one. You're going to gaslight me into this goddamn conversation. Don't do it, Vine.
The social media people that you are, you can't wait for 30 seconds for them to get ready to throw.
Don't fucking goddamn do it. We're running late in the subject. I have vibe talk from Jrue Mayo. Can I go to the vibe talk, please?
Certainly can, yes.
Talking about building a team. Maybe him and I are on the same page. Here's Jrue Mayo stuttering through this. Remember, Texans general manager Nick Caserio had built a team. I'd been building in that team for 2 or 3 years when they got C.J. Stroud in that position. So when you look at our team, I'm not asking for patience, but I am. Simple minds comment right there. It's a process. It's not only about the quarterback. Obviously, you want to have that QB1 and build around him, but it doesn't always happen the way you want it. We could bring a quarterback in here, and he may not be ready to play realistically. At Mayo added, no shit. That's why I added that one. That's why we have a guy like Jacoby coming along. Jacoby's great. He can still play football and also mentor someone in that room. I love that he can still play football. He's not as bad as you think he is. I mean, he's not great.
He's pretty good. Come on, he's pretty good. He's all right.
He can still play. He can still whip it around.
We gave him $8 million. He can't be that bad.
He has a connection to that offense with Alex Van Pelt, so he can always be that teacher. That's how we're going to look at it. No shit, Mayo. Like, as soon as we got it, he's the room guy. He blows. He's going to teach the young guy the offense, and then as soon as physically possible, that young kid can take the job. He's taking it, and Jacoby Brissett's going to take a soft seat and collect his $8 million and ride off in the sunset. We get it. Vibing. That guy. They haven't let Jrue Mayo in on a single personnel move they've made all season. No, not one. He doesn't have a fucking clue.
He's made it crystal clear that he is not qualified to make those decisions.
No, nor is he qualified to even know about them because he's taken back half the shit he said, and now he's talking in such generalities that he's saying things like he can still play football. He has no idea.
Yep, no, not at all.
Not a clue. Okay, I'm going to skip this potential second-round pick talk and just go right to the Kyle Duggar extension. Kyle Duggar extended 4 years, $58 million, a 2-year guarantee worth $29.7 million, total $32 million. Basically, it's a 2-year deal, $16 million per after he was signed to a $13 million transition tag. When this deal initially came out, I went 4 years, $60 million. It's like eight-ish per. That's not bad. You know, his market didn't come together and through that transition tag situation. So they drop his salary down a few $1 million. He comes back on a short-term deal. Cool. Nope. They gave him more money. They gave him more than transition tag for a good player that they've developed to keep their own guys. Solid guy, good teammate, but certainly overpaid at a position that is not very valuable.
I think Kyle Duggar's agent deserves a standing ovation because they played hardball because they know that their whole offseason was built around them signing their core guys back for the first time. So, I mean, you look at the whole league basically said, oh, if you have a good safety this year, we're cutting them, guys. We're cutting our safeties that are good. So, and they're the only ones. They not only did they re-sign him to a number higher than this tag, they extend him. So where nobody else is even, all these safeties are still sitting around. I think maybe 1 or 2 of them signed. So this is the agent absolutely deserves a standing ovation. He did this because he does not deserve this contract.
Too much credit for the agent, not enough blame for the Patriots, who are playing rookie ball. They're playing Steelers defense. We do what we do. They had a plan going into the offseason. By all accounts, they mostly executed that plan, except for whiffing on a wide receiver, which they wanted a wide receiver one. They couldn't adjust to the market. This was also a unbelievably generous market in offseason for veteran wide receivers, between Keenan Allen going for a first-round pick, Mike Williams just getting dropped, all these other, T. Higgins trade block, Stephon Diggs going for a second-round pick, plus shit back in return for the Bills. It was a extremely generous wide receiver market. You are obviously in desperate need of high-end wide receiver talent, and now that we have hindsight, it's like the Patriots had their plan. They were going to sign their guys. They had a tight window of wide receivers that they're interested in. They're going to try and spend some money on that. When that didn't work, they couldn't adjust on the fly because they're inexperienced playing rookie ball down there. And this is why JJ McCarthy is coming here, because they're just playing as safe to the line as they can play with what they know. And what they know is very minimal compared to the rest of the league.
Yeah, it doesn't look good for young Elliott. I don't know if they have something up their sleeve. So first, no one's going to do the Bills Texans deal with the Patriots for these receivers. If the Patriots come calling for their wide receiver, I'm going to be like, yeah, that's great. We'll take a second round this year and a third round next year, and then you can blow me. Fuck you.
Yeah.
Not going to get that deal. The teams are going to use the next couple years as a casual fuck you to the Patriots for their 20 years of success. They're just going to let them stew in it they'll be like, figure it out on your own. No one's going to help the Patriots get better.
Yeah, that, and they're going to take advantage of the inexperience and no one there to play hardball back.
Yeah, pretty much. There's going to be there'll be no sweetheart deals, because also our GM doesn't have any cachet out in the league like Belichick used to get. He used to get sweetheart deals from some people because of whatever it is that he's done throughout the years.
Yep. Nope. It's going to be tough sledding for Mr. Wolf moving forward. They're going to have to overpay. People don't want to come here. Your team sucks. So, you're going to have to be a little bit – you're going to have to swing for the fences, as they would say.
That's why Drake May's coming here.
Yeah, we'll see about that. All right. Well, there you go. That's the Patriots talk. We're going to switch gears and go over to headlines with the commish. That's me. Oh, I don't know where the audio is. Oh, see, I was a little bit. There we go. Not that hard, Ray. Headlines: the Celtics had their winning streak snapped by a desperate Bucks team, 104-91. But don't worry, because Joe Mazzula feels holistically full and plans not to change a single thing in preparation for the playoffs. That should make you feel pretty good. Restless. This is how you turn that down too, right? Just right there. See, there's a little slider there. Just turn it down. The Red Sox prove yet again the West Coast sports are meaningless as they get curb stomped on and off the diamond in their return home. Trevor Story for the season, a non-competitive game against the Orioles, and Tito Francona spits in the ride just a couple hours before he's about to take the field for a 2004 celebration. The Red Sox are in shambles. The Bruins play hockey, Bobby. Not for long, though, as the playoffs are about to start. They're good. Lightning on the first round, and Bruins season is about to be over, so savor it while you can, hockey fans. And lastly, free Ohtani. The federal investigation has found Shohei Ohtani completely innocent of any wrongdoing in the multi-million-dollar illegal gambling scheme in California. His interpreter, best friend, and fall guy, Ippei Mizuhara, is scheduled to plead guilty on federal charges for theft and fraud. He probably will face many decades in prison and not see a single year of it. They'll export him back to Japan. We'll never hear from him again with a bag full of Ohtani's hush-hush money.
A trust fund has been set up in his name.
There you go. And finally, on this day in sports, 1947, Jackie Robinson became the first black player in Major League Baseball history, playing in an exhibition game for the Brooklyn Dodgers. In 1966, Emmett Ashford became the first African-American Major League umpire. And in 1980, Gordie Howe played his final NHL game at the age of 52 years old. You old bastard. This has been Headlines with Commish. Nailed it.
So good.
Nailed it. A little Celtics talk here. Actually, any thoughts on Ohtani's interpreter taking the heat?
That was always going to happen. Ohtani completely free and clear. Even though I don't remember what the evidence was, but it actually kind of didn't look great for Ohtani. It was actually kind of sketchy.
The evidence was, so this guy had full access to your bank account, took $4.5 million, and you didn't know. Yes.
Yeah, but there was even like something else. Like there was like a little bit. It was a little bit more textured, where it even kind of like didn't look great for him. But yeah, it was always going to be this way.
There's a clip out there when he first came to the league. They were talking to him, and they asked, I forget what the interview was, but they were in Las Vegas, and they asked Ohtani how he met his interpreter and how they became one. And they said, he actually said this kind of laughing, like, I don't know if I should say this. He said, we met on a gambling spree, like an absolute gambling debauchery spree in Las Vegas, like 10 or 15 years ago.
Well, that makes a lot of sense.
These guys were doing it. They were in on it. They're
100%. Well, now he'll just get a couple of deferred Dodgers payments into that trust account later, and everything will be fine.
Yeah, it's anyway. California, wake up! Just make it legal. Like who cares?
Yeah.
Idiots. It's shit.
Complaining about money.
It's a victimless crime. Ohtani was in on it.
Yeah, he was.
He's free now though. Celtics talk. Jrue Holiday signs a 4-year, 135.
Dyslexia.
4-year, $135 million extension saves him about $7 million on the tax next year. To they'll be floating around this apron the next few seasons for sure. It keeps Holiday in Boston through the age of 37. You'd think he's retiring a Celtics here, a Celtic. He's come out and said he wants to be here. He's just a perfect professional. That's why people like him. I want to be here. Fans are great. Teammates are great. All the nice lines. I'm here to win multiple championships. Yeah, nothing.
Yeah, I'm just gonna stand around and watch Tatum fucking dribble the air out of the ball while I would collect $30 million a year.
I'm gonna pop 47% from the corner. I'm a 3-and-D guy now, making $37 million a year. I'm happy.
Yeah, my hair looks dope though.
I'm groovy, baby. Look, you could say what you want about the contract and paying a 37-year-old $34 million. Certainly, I get that. That contract is not going to look very good in 4 years for the Celtics, whether he's here or not. We'll see what the salary cap does. The money's already stupid in the NBA. It's probably going to get stupider. However, the first thing that I thought, and I've been thinking about this, I've actually looked at this last couple of weeks, like what is the finances going to look like? And realistically, could the Celtics keep this core together, however you want to define that core? I'm going to define it right now as the starting five. I'm going to leave Horford off for now. He's got 1 year left at like $9 million. And if they win this year, I would not be surprised if he retired. That being said, the starting five of White, Holiday, Brown, Tatum, and Porzingis through 2025, the next year is now Holiday is signed through that. Porzingis is signed. 2025 would be his last year of the deal. Tatum's going to get his extension next year. He signed through 2025. Brown obviously has the big deal. And then Peyton Pritchard is the other guy in that list. The only guy not signed through 2025 in next year is Derek White, which you'd have to expect Derek White's going to get a contract if Jrue Holiday got one. So I just like the commitment to a 3 or 4 year window, minimally, where Wick Grossbeck and Celtics ownership are willing to pay the tax, pay the heavy tax, pay the repeater tax. And I don't know the ramifications of the NBA salary cap to understand the flexibility these deals give Brad Stevens and the apron and their restrictions. Obviously, the more you pay in salary, the more restrictions you have. Second apron, first apron, blah blah blah. But look, in an era of Boston sports where the Patriots are cheap, the Red Sox are cheap, it's nice to see a team investing in the best team in their sport, which are the Boston Celtics, who have a ton of pressure on them to win an NBA championship this year and really for a number of years moving forward, especially if they keep the score together. So all positive, I would say.
Yeah, fair point about the them spending money and then who isn't. Yeah, so that's a very good point. And I hadn't even thought about it from the Derek White angle. Yeah, if I'm Derek White, I'm kind of pissed off actually. Like, what the hell?
They're already in conversations. They're
They
absolutely
better be. I swear to God,
conversation.
he can't be the odd man out. He's half the time he's their best player.
Yeah. Well, it's the other encouraging signs for me that is coming, because I thought maybe they'd give White the extension and kind of let Jrue walk because of the age. And they're kind of similar in skill set, but they gave him the contract. They absolutely have to give Derek White the contract, and I think they will.
I mean, he's just a better player. I mean, you could have signed Derek White for that contract. I think if that contract was offered to Derek White, he certainly accepts it. And I mean, I don't think that anybody, if given the opportunity, would you prefer Holiday or Derek White? One has to go. I don't think anybody's choosing Holiday. So
No, not at this point in their careers. You can't.
no. Oh, just not even based off of production. I think I might be the only one saying it. Holiday to me has been disappointing. Maybe it's just because of what I expected him to do. As far as like from a product, he's certainly been better than Marcus Smart, and they're a better team with him. But more of what I expected him to do was to stop this fourth quarter madness by being the point guard, and he's never been the point guard. So I don't know if this was his role discussed going in, or he just hasn't taken over. I mean, that's something for Mazzula, that's internal, but that was just my expectation.
Yeah, the only thing I'll say to that, and I had a similar expectation of it. However, I'm going to put less blame on Jrue Holiday on that and more on Jason Tatum and some on Mazzula, because inevitably, even if he had something to say and Tatum said no, what are they going to
Yeah,
do?
he's just like, stop it, give me the ball.
But I think the Celtics' biggest improvement in that category in terms of focused and not getting pushed around, that type of thing, is yes, they've certainly blown some leads, and as of late, we've railed on them for it. But most of the season, they didn't blow those crazy leads like they did in previous years. And even if they took a bad L, they came back immediately most of the year and went on another 10-game streak. So maybe that's a Jrue Holiday effect. And certainly the absence of Marcus Smart alone and the distraction of his fake fucking camaraderie bullshit.
It's the only thing about the season I truly like is him not being around and like basically being injured and looking fatter.
Yeah. Yeah. Good barbecue down there in Memphis.
That's true.
Here's some interesting statistics regarding that luxury tax. The tax has been in place for 21 years. Sorry, hold on. Let me read this again. In the 21 years since the luxury tax was created, it has been applicable in 19 seasons. In those 19 seasons, 28 NBA franchises have paid over $2 billion in payroll excess. And here's how, and you can take a look at the list if you want. This is from Forbes this is based on the 2022-23 season. So it's a year behind. But in 12th place, the Celtics came in 8 seasons. They've been over the tax. It would be 9 counting this year, I guess. In those 8 seasons, they paid $50.6 million in taxes. When it was implemented, that Pierce Garnett Big Three run, they pay taxes every year, like 7 straight years or whatever they paid it. I think last year was the first year. Oh no, the 2018 maybe the Kyrie. Anyway, whatever. They've paid 8 or 9 seasons, $50 million. Compared to, and they're 12th. They're ranked 12th in the NBA. The Warriors are ranked first. 5 seasons they've paid the tax. They've paid a total of $337.8 million.
Where does that money go? Like, who gets that money?
I think it goes back to the league, back to the.
But yeah, so but like, does it get split amongst the other owners?
I don't know.
I just find that because that's a lot of money. So the other owners basically just take that into some profit sharing program, or does it get redistributed in the league somehow? I mean, the players obviously aren't seeing that money, but I'm just curious because that's a lot of money.
It's a lot of money. It's a good question. I know baseball and their profit sharing is split between most times that type of stuff is split between the owners. They just put it in their pockets probably.
Yeah.
The list is pretty good. The Hornets and the Pelicans have never paid a luxury tax in their entirety.
That makes sense.
This one made me smile. Okay. So the Warriors, 5 seasons, they've paid over $300 million in taxes. They have 4 championships. The Nets are second place on this list. They have paid taxes in 7 seasons. they have paid $297.8 million, and they have 0 championships.
The Nets are a hilarious franchise. The Nets are
Pretty
the only reason that Danny Ainge has this fucking mystique about him, because he pulled off that ridiculous trade. It's like he probably there was no way he thought when he called those assholes that they were going to say yes.
No, he was swinging for the fences, and he connected.
Yep.
Here, lastly, just a little going into the playoffs. We'll have next week to talk about it too. But the last game, they're playing the Knicks tonight. Or no, they played the Knicks last night. Celtics. I don't know. Last game I watched in totality was the Bucks loss, and I don't put a lot of stock into it. The Bucks were a desperate team falling apart, and they shot light. They couldn't miss. I watched basically the first 3 quarters of that. Celtics looked like they didn't give a shit, and then they turned it on. They made it a game a little bit in the third quarter, especially after Giannis went down with a non-contact calf, kind of Achilles-y looking injury.
Okay, Aaron Rodgers.
Now that looked like a not great. Yeah. So, R.I.P. Bucks. And then Joe Mazzula here, Mr. Holistic himself, went on 98.5, the Sports Hub, and had a couple stupid things to say. And I maybe really made it a little too hard. I just don't like his view. He just so holistic and everything's great. And I'm not going to really change things as we go into the playoffs. He's talking about pressure here. I have a couple quotes. They ask him about the pressure, going into the playoffs. He says, quote, "I wouldn't want it any other way. I could never imagine having a job where I wouldn't wake up and want to be the absolute best at it. So whatever happens this season, you have to wake up the next day and get ready for the next thing. Yeah, there's pressure. I put it on myself every single day to be the best coach, to win, to be the best husband, to be the best father. Pressure is cooked in it something like a negative, but in reality, it's just something that's there. And why wouldn't you want that?" A couple more here. There's pressure, there's expectations, but that will never go away. Mazzula added, like, it's always going to be there. And that's been the coolest moment about this job, is finding the freedom and the peace and the love and the joy of that pressure. I feel like our guys this year, regardless of what's going to happen, they feel they have the freedom, the peace, the joy towards going after something that you love. Ugh.
Yeah.
Ugh. No, I don't want freedom, peace, and joy. I want, if Jason Tatum loses, he wants to either kill himself or kill somebody. I don't want peace and love and joy and holistic fullness and happiness because you gave your best. And what are you going to do? The universe is spoken. Go out there and fucking win. And if you don't win, you should hate yourselves for a long time, because I'm going to.
I just picture Mazzula and Mayo just like spooning Mayo, just like big spooning him, like holding him over there. They're just sitting there in bed, just talking about stuff like this.
It's just like, isn't this great? We're doing what we love, and pressure is great, man. It's something you're like, why else? What would you want to do without the pressure? It's like, maybe you don't know what real pressure is, because everybody still loves the Celtics.
Or he's just not altogether up here to really feel what's happening. He's just living in his own universe that isn't in the same plane of reality as everybody else.
Yeah, or he's just full of shit.
Or that.
If they choke it again this year, watch that pressure not be as loving and joyful. Watch that turn real quick.
Yeah.
I didn't mean I wanted to kill them. I didn't mean that. That was an over-exaggeration. But
there was some truth in it, but yeah.
Certainly. I do wish that, like, when Kobe Bryant lost, he wanted to literally kill someone. Like, and that's an exaggeration, but honestly, it takes that level of maniacal, like, concentration and commitment to be that regularly successful in professional sports. Like,
it's documented. You look at the regular success of these people, that's what they are. They're just competitive beasts.
Yeah, it's like, and I think everybody has a little bit of that in them, but not everybody can access it. I think Tatum wants to win. I think he works really hard. I think he's competitive, but at the end of the day, does it like just destroy him? If they lose in a game 6, is he just destroyed until the next game 6 he's in, or is he pissed and get over it in a week or so in Barbados?
With Tatum, I kind of almost feel like he just worries about what people think about him too much. Like I agree with everything that you said about that he wants to like all these things, but like in order to get what you want as an adult or a person, sometimes to get what you want, I have to piss off you
Right.
because you want something that doesn't align with my interests, but I don't give a fuck about your interests. I only care about what I want.
Yeah.
And I think with him, that's kind of what I feel it is he doesn't he doesn't want to ruffle any feathers in order to get what he wants.
That's an interesting point too, because I've had this thought that especially in like close games, he's doing what he thinks he should do as opposed to what should be done, and that very well just could be immaturity. And he's 25, 26 years old, and he's doing what he thinks he should do in those moments because that's what he's seen his idols do, and he knows he's the best player, and he can't quite identify what needs to be done, whether that, to your point, pisses somebody off or isn't right, in his mind what it will look like. And he's forcing, and in those moments, he's forcing things a little bit.
Yeah.
And look, the thing that to look forward to is the Celtics are so good that they could just go win a championship on talent. They could. I don't think they will. I think they'll need to earn it through a couple close games and some metal there. But if they do get over that championship hump, it could open the floodgates. That type of
Yeah.
thing in the NBA opens the door through confidence and experience and that type of thing.
Oh yeah, well, if they pop their cherry, they're going to keep at it. They're going to keep going back to that well. Then they could rip off 2, 3, 4, whatever it is. They could have their little run here. It's all out in the open for them. There's not going to be anybody else to stop them that we see as an upper comer. So that's kind of how we got the Nuggets last year. There just isn't that like team right now. It was
Right.
supposed to be the Celtics that started last year. So
Yeah.
their run is there. They could have it. It's just whether or not they choose to do it, or we're just going to have this strange, every other weird couple teams that just get chips.
Kind of sneak through. Yeah. Especially if Wick's willing to spend on that starting five. They keep those guys together for 3 or 4 years, then they got some potential. Okay, quick break. Restless mind. All right, I'm going to do this quickly. Here's our Red Sox minute. I basically touched on my opening take. Confirmed they do blow. They gave us a scare there at the beginning of the season.
At least they had a nice, warm, fuzzy start to just kind of
get a little hope going, and then completely crush it and stomp on it. Nick Pivetta, as I mentioned, that'll soon be a Tommy John injury. And don't you get going on his pitch clock just yet. Chris Murphy, Tommy John injury. Giolito gone. Trevor Story, broken shoulder. Like, not dislocated. He broke his shoulder. How the fuck?
It's the pitch clock.
These assholes in this pitch clock. I swear to goddamn God. Cora came out and said it. The Red Sox announcers have been saying it. I won't get too far into it, but the spin rate and the torque, they're throwing the ball as hard as they possibly can with as much torque and spin on their arms as they possibly can since they're being taught this now from the age of 16 in AAU ball. Like, coming up in high school, I was told even in high school to like not throw a curveball until you were a junior or senior because you're.
Yeah, I always wondered about that because I remember my limited baseball career. They didn't like. I played up until I stopped before Babe Ruth. They didn't want kids doing it then.
Yeah, because it fucks up your arm. And like now, imagine. And then it was always, command and save your gas and things like this. And it's just not. And people are bailing on the pitch clock because arms have been falling off for a decade. Like, there hasn't been a dominant pitcher that can go 200 innings in a really, really long time. Those guys are extremely rare now, especially like the Cy Young winners that can do it. Your best pitchers in the game have an incredible season, and then like clockwork, they're out. They're with an arm injury, usually a Tommy John, and then it's 2 years, and then they come back. I won't go down the list. I don't have it off the top of my head like Billy Baseball, but Just go look at it. All of the best pitchers in baseball have suffered from it, and it's not because the pitch clock that's a year old in Major League Baseball that's been in the minors for I think 4 or 5, maybe 6 years. Those guys arms aren't falling off, so it's aggravating. The Red Sox opened their home opener against the Orioles and looked pathetic. The first game they get blown out. The second game they pissed on their leg and errors and looked like a little league team. Their first game, the 04 Red Sox team was honored for their 20-year anniversary in a very touching, sad moment. Tim Wakefield's daughter, young teen daughter, I forget her name, threw out the first pitch. Tim Wakefield and his wife passed within months of each other and just unbelievably tragic circumstances. So she throws out the pitch. It's this wonderfully warm moment, and then you find out
exactly like Tim Wakefield pitches.
She did show somebody how to throw a knuckleball in some video I watched. She didn't make it to the plate, but girl.
She could have thrown underhand. That might have helped.
Get a rookie of the year. Come to find out, the night before, Terry Francona was in town with his 2004 squad that broke the curse, the greatest Red Sox team in history, down 3-1 to the Yankees. Everyone knows the story. The manager of that team, Terry Francona, was there to celebrate with his boys on the field until apparently they went out the night before. They all had a couple pops, and someone said something to someone, and Francona said, "Fuck you, I'm not coming." Pissed on Theo Epstein's shoes and didn't show up to the on-field ceremony the next day at Fenway. Obviously, a lot of animosity there after the 2011 chicken and beer. They just roasted Francona out the door. Just talk about a bag job. They threw him under the bus like you read about. So that was funny to see. And then everyone still hates Curt Schilling because of the Rhode Island thing. He's a generic asshole, and he spilled the news. I don't know if you know this, Bobby. He spilled the news about Tim Wakefield's horrible brain, fatal brain disease that he had. He spilled on MLB Network or whatever network he's working on. So all the Red Sox hate him. Derek Lowe said, "I'm glad he didn't show up. It's the best for all of us because Monday night we were all going out. Someone would have had a couple. Things would have been said. Things would have happened. It's best he's not here." Fuck you, Curt Schilling. This franchise is a disaster. That's your Red Sox moment. Any final thoughts on that, Bobby?
No, you put it together very well for me.
Thank you. One more quick break here. We'll do a little top 5, if you would. Top 5 segment, the top 5 Patriots first round draft picks. Going back to football and first round talk. I like these segments. These top 5 where we kind of have a round table discussion. We put our list together. We're missing the obvious one in his ledger. So I'll have to jot these down so I remember what we're talking about. I'm going to tell you something. This is going to be hard to boil down to top 5.
Yeah, no, it is. There's a lot of players in here.
So I didn't put all of the draft picks here. I put the noticeable ones, and there's whatever, a dozen or so.
Yeah, some of those were obviously never going to make the top 5.
Some of them weren't. Robert Edwards didn't make the list. 1999, tragically, but he was close. I went back to 1987 and Bruce Armstrong. Beyond that, John Hanna and those guys, a couple Hall of Famers from the 70s. Yeah. 87 even was a little bit far back, but I remember watching Bruce Armstrong play left tackle, going up against Bruce Smith and the Bills. Always like that matchup. So he made the list. That's where the list starts. Okay. I'm going to rattle these off. Stop me if you have something to say, and then we will discuss the top 5. Throw a couple out there. 1987, Bruce Armstrong. 1993, Drew Bledsoe. 1994, Willie McGinnis.
Convicted felon.
Yeah, not a lot talked about that. Socking guys at the nightclub. 1995, Ty Law, Hall of Famer Ty Law. 1996, Terry Shea Glenn. 1999, Damian Woody. 2004, Hall of Famer Richard Seymour. 2002, tight end Daniel Graham. 2003, defensive lineman Ty Warren. 2004, Big Vince Wilfork. Also in 2004, Benjamin Watson was taken in the first round. 2005, Logan Menkins. 2008, Gerard Mayo. 2010, Devin McCourty. 2011, Nate Solder. 2012, Chandler Jones and Dante Hightower in that first round. And then I put Mac Jones at 2021 just to be funny. But from 2012 to now, there are no names that should be on there. Not a one.
No.
So that tells you all you need to know about what happened after.
Thanks,
after
Belichick.
Yeah. Throw out a couple. Who do you want to get in the short list here? Maybe we'll have 7, 8, 9 of them or so, and then boil it down.
Yeah, I mean Vince Wilfork, Ty Law, those two, they're right in there. Then obviously, who's the other one?
Seymour.
Yes, Seymour. I think they have to be in there.
Yeah, I agree. I think McGinnis is in this conversation.
He is. He's like I think he's a fifth guy to be around there.
I know Bledsoe's not going to make it, but I'm going to mention him as part of the conversation.
Yeah, he deserves honorable mention. Kind of like a substitute teacher.
Here's a guy. Well, I have 2 other guys here. Maybe 3.
I mean, Devin
is on there, I think. But then Menkins and Hightower.
Yeah.
Are Hightower maybe even more because of the longevity with the franchise.
Yeah, I think if pressed, I think I'd had to go. I would probably go Hightower over Mankins. I remember when Hightower was at the peak of his powers there, he had like 2 seasons. He was either like an all pro or injured. And like those years when he wasn't in the defense, you could tell that he wasn't there.
Yes. Yeah, I agree with you on that one. And Megan's left guard, great left guard, really important, but they traded him and they won the Super Bowl. So
yeah, exactly. He was a good, awesome player, cool guy. But yeah, exactly. It's just he plays guard.
Yeah. And I just like Terry Glenn, talking about Terry Glenn.
Terry Glenn.
First play of the Super Bowl. Go route. Terry Glenn. Okay, I think that's a good short list. The other guys, really good players, nice draft picks. Gerard Mayo, Gerard vibes.
There he is.
Gerard vibes. Mayo
Gerard
on there. He's not making the top 5 though.
No, him in the 6 seasons that he played.
I'm gonna throw out there. I'm gonna start at 1 and work my way back. I'm gonna go Ty Law 1
as the best number 1 pick. Interesting. I'd probably go Seymour.
I'm 1-2.
It's just, I guess it would just be what position do you value? I think as a player, they were probably equal. I think Ty Law was kind of he was the press man guy. He was Bill's first flat out one. He went out there and he beat the shit out of guys on the outside. But then Richard Seymour was in there. It was a 1-man wrecking crew. So it's just it's what do you prefer? What position do you think is more important? Really?
Well, that and longevity. So Ty Law was there 95 through 2004. Seymour's
he went to the Chiefs after they won the 3rd Super Bowl, right?
He went to the Chiefs and the Jets. He made a Pro Bowl with both, I think. He led the league in interceptions with the Jets.
Really?
Yeah.
I remember that.
And then when Seymour went to the Raiders, where players go to die, he was still good.
He had like 2 good years, but yeah.
He was not the same guy. So that's why I lean Ty Law in on that. Longevity with the team and then also, as a career. But somewhere in there, 1, 2. 3, 4, 5, where it gets a little murky. I'll give you my players and add one if you'd like. I got Wilfork, McCourty, and McGinnis rounding out this list.
Wilfork and McCourty, I agree with. McGinnis, and then it's for me, it's probably between McGinnis and Hightower. I think recency bias maybe makes me go with Hightower, but I think McGinnis was a better player. I think McGinnis was a better player. It was a better defensive end than Hightower was a linebacker. But as the middle linebacker of the Patriots, Hightower was just more important. I think.
Yeah. They both showed up really big in big moments. I think McGinnis gets a little highlighted more because it was at the beginning of the dynasty and it was all fresh and new, and the goal line stop against Indy. So it's those are tight. I'll give you that. But you put Will Fork above both of them.
I would put Will Fork as probably my third.
Yeah.
He was just a cool guy. He was fun. He was about as fun as a defensive tackle could be.
I think Will Fork and McCourty are really comparable in their two roles, where none of them were neither of them were maybe considered the best at their position at any point in their career, but they were perfect Patriots, like solid top 3 in their position, certainly, and just ultimate professionals and really, really, really good.
Really good players, yeah.
And big, playmakers. Vince Wilfork was catching goddamn interceptions. And there was a time where people could not throw into that third level of the secondary because Devin McCourty would go snatch it.
How good the Patriots were up the middle with having the best defensive tackle, one of the best linebackers, and then having McCourty as a safety. They're just so good. Just underrated how good the players were, throughout time.
No, it's a good point. I'm gonna executive decision this and go McGinnis at 5 because he was a part of the 04 team, which is the best
some
team.
Throwback love.
And Hightower's 14 and that goddamn strip sack. Although that Atlanta Super Bowl, that's more on Kyle Shanahan and Matt Ryan. Great play by High, but like what are you throwing the ball there for, you dumbass?
Yeah, the strips. I know. Yeah, he does have the strip sack. Yeah,
and the tackle against Marshawn Lynch.
Fuck.
I'm going Hightower.
There you go. Get lost, McGinnis.
Okay.
He's probably out of money.
Yeah, don't say that too loud. I'd like just a big fist comes across the screen. Like, oh shit, how'd you get hit, Willie? Definitive list. Our top 5. At number 1, Ty Law. At 2, Richard Seymour. At 3, Vince Wilfork. 4, Devin McCourty. And 5, Dante Hightower, the Patriots' current linebacker coach. Dante Hightower, vibing down there in Foxborough. So there you go. We're going to close it up with Simplest Minds of the Week right after this.
Oh, back to school to prove to Dad that I'm not a fool.
I will say, I don't know if you can tell by looking at me, I do have family members with Down syndrome. It almost got me. I dodged it, but it nicked me. Bit of a day walker myself.
Are you stupid or something? I'm as stupid as stupid does.
Already got one candidate for Simplest Minds of the Week. Rashid Rice is a pretty good candidate. Rashid Rice, wide receiver for the Kansas City Chiefs, Super Bowl champions, Kansas City Chiefs.
Maybe formally.
Maybe formally. Police issued an arrest warrant for Kansas City Chiefs wide receiver Rashid Rice for his alleged role in a multi-car accident in Dallas late last month. Rice's attorney confirmed he was driving a Lamborghini that was seen allegedly racing a Corvette on the Dallas area highway. I like to think, no, I know this isn't true, that the kid in the Corvette was a college football player for one of the college football teams down there in Texas. But when I first read it and didn't know that, I totally pictured this as a 1969 Stingray Corvette with the T-top and some fucking Texan with a big 10-gallon hat racing.
Burt Reynolds.
yeah, very Burt Reynolds looking guy racing the Lamborghini down the strip.
Get the fuck out of my road, boy.
Yeehaw, motherfucker.
Just that would be great.
Strange country. Take them Chiefs hat on back home. They hit the center median wall and caused a collision with several other vehicles. There are injuries and there are lawsuits coming. Obviously, that alone gets you on the list for being an asshole and a dumbass in Simplest Mind. However, a nice little interesting tidbit that Bobby brought to our attention this week in the text chain was left at the scene. Among the items recovered from the scene in the multi-vehicle crash involving the Chiefs wide receiver in Dallas last week were drugs, of course, 10.8 grams of marijuana, which, okay, a check for $16,500. It's interesting to me that there's a check.
I know. Well, was the check made out to him? Did he write the check? I would like to know who the check was made out to.
I'd like to know where it came from. I'm assuming it's a check from the Chiefs.
Yeah, because I don't think Rashee Rice has a checkbook.
No, definitely not. And does the NFL team still work in checks? Do they still hand out checks to their players?
I would imagine that there's a direct deposit option.
You'd have to think.
Yeah.
And 60, I don't know what his salary is. It's probably pretty low. He's a rookie. So 16,000 seemed low for me. Maybe it was maybe he was in Dallas to shoot like a promo and someone cut him a check.
Sure. Could have been some sort of ad that he got the money for.
Or maybe that 10.8 grams was, just a little off the top and he had just got finished doing a deal where commonly marijuana deals are finished off with checks.
Very possible. Yeah,
and then to top it all off, the last item left at the scene was a Kansas City Chiefs playbook.
It's so great. What do you need the playbook for? Why is it there? He just has it thrown in the fucking Rena.
Oh, it's so great. It's so great. We went to we rented a big house in Easter and a bunch of our friends came and there was this like pool table room, like a game room, and we hadn't gone in it. And then we went in to go play pool and there was a foosball table and the whole thing was like just totally ripped apart. The whole room was kind of like a disaster. Like, Jesus Christ, what happened here? And the only person we'd seen go in there was our friend's like 2-year-old son. And we're like, was it him? And then we like look over in the corner and his little Ninja Turtles mask was sitting in the corner. It's just like the smoking gun of evidence that it was him that destroyed the room. This is exactly what I thought of it. The Chiefs fucking playbook. It's like, wasn't me, officer.
Well, you just fucked yourself and outed yourself to Airbnb. So if they're listening, whoever rented that place is coming right for that kid.
Airbnb doesn't have that kind of tentacles. They can't catch me. They can't get me. Well, thoughts and prayers to Rashee Rice. No one died in that accident, so we can laugh about it. And
good.
Yeah, good. And we'll see. A lot of players have done a lot worse in Kansas City.
Yeah, exactly.
We have some comments here. We have some comments here. Now these are a little bit old. Let's run through a little bit. These are basically just my stupid cousins. Ray popped in. Bobby, new room. Sorry, I didn't see that. This year's draft, Jared Moriarty. This year's draft is going to be the sequel to Brady 6. We'll see about that. Go after Dak next year with your talent on your team for your first year's draft. Would you take Dak Prescott, supposed to be a free agent next year?
No, I will pass on that. I'd rather have year 2 of Big Black Hoyer.
Yeah. Rick Brissett blows, says Wicked Callahan. Can't disagree with that. Better 3. Patch trade with Chargers for Herbert in the 5th round overall in the 2nd round next year. That comes from some moron named Patrick Mooney. That's is not happening. I keep hearing this too, like in a little bit of semi-professional circles, that the Chargers are going to trade Herbert. Yeah.
That's not happening.
Come on, people. Jared goes on to say that's too complicated. My small brain can't make that theory work. Thank you. Yep, I'm with you there. No, there you go. That's the Mankins was a guard. Fuck that. All right, yeah, we kept him off the list. He made the short list. Sorry, Law Brooks, Peyton Spirit. He's number 1 on the list. So you got your wish there, Mr. Moriarty. This has been the Simline Sports Show. Friday Rewind, April 12th. Thursday Live, April 11th. Thanks for tuning in, boys. And Bobby, this was pleasant. This was enjoyable.
Likewise.
We'll see you next time.
See you. Bye-bye.
Yeah, it's not that difficult.
Yeah.
You just click it.
I mean,
just
sometimes
get-
it's just really more of the pressure. He seems like he doesn't handle pressure well.
No, he really gets broken up when we're even just looking at him funny when he has to read. So
Reading's hard.
reading is a little bit tough.
How do you- Remember when the kids couldn't read in school and you had to sit there and fucking grit your teeth through that bullshit?
Today, Junior.
Oh, that was so bad.
Christ. I mean, no one likes reading in public speaking and all that, but know your strengths, know your weaknesses, kids.
God, fucking teachers.
Just
Just bring that kid to the side here, okay?
Yeah, come on, Walker. You know that fucking idiot can't read. Don't
Walker.
ask Ray to read.
I said teacher, not fat asshole.
My bad. Speaking of fat assholes, welcome to Simbine's Sports Show. And OJ Simpson died.
He did.
So,
The juice is dead.
no more juice.
Yeah.
No more juice.
He had such a promising post-playing career until he allegedly killed people.
Allegedly. Still went to jail.
He was he not in jail when he died, or did he get out?
He got out.
Yeah, because he went to jail for the memorabilia thing, right?
Yeah, didn't he? Yes. Well, he was in jail in Florida when he wrote the book, If I Did It.
Yeah.
Or How I Would Have Done It. And then he went and stole all his shit in Vegas. And I think he went to jail. I don't know. He's a criminal. He's a murdering criminal.
He's an asshole. Yeah.
Great running back. Also, big piece of shit. So he's dead.